It's part 1 now, chapter 13 of the peripheral nervous system. We'll learn some reflex activities as well. And we're here on page 483. And we have a picture of a gymnast here using peripheral nerves to maintain balance and perform acts of daring do, as it were. And you'll notice here on this next page, 484, that the central nervous system has been clicked off, as it were, and now we're entirely in the peripheral nervous system. Entirely. It's abbreviated PNS, whereas the central nervous system is abbreviated CNS. Okay, and you'll notice also that we have the peripheral nervous system that is sensory, and we have the peripheral nervous system that is motor, that is to say outflow. All of these red lines are outflow. Okay, so they're efferent as opposed to afferent. Okay, I always think of going at something, afferent, and I always think of efferent as exiting. Okay, so we have our somatic nervous system, which means you can use your voluntary muscles. Okay, all of your skeletal muscles are part of this system over here. Over here we have the autonomic nervous system, which is based on a variety of highly complex reflexes that are adjustments that are made unconsciously. Although if you're, fabulous at meditation, or you're a great athlete, great artist, you can actually learn to control your mind to some degree and some of your responses. And so you can enter into states of relaxation, and you can use emotions to redirect activity through the body. Those are important details. Actors, actresses use that. All artists use the redirection of emotion, some more or less successfully. Okay, so that's the deal right there, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Also, I noted to you that by day, we have the sympathetic tone of the body. And then by night, we have the parasympathetic tone. Where does the sympathetic tone come from? It comes from epinephrine, or adrenaline. So we have that outflow. Plus we have a certain amount of thyroxine that is associated with the levels of epinephrine. And we also have insulin, because we're food-seeking. Unless you eat during your sleep, sleepwalking or something, you don't have insulin here. In fact, insulin actually turns off major portions of the parasympathetic tone of sleeping, because that's when we have our growth hormone and growth factors coming out, and anything that's eaten within 2 hours or maybe even 3 hours of bedtime is going to interrupt the activity of the parasympathetic tone, which is largely growth hormone, liver somatomedins, or sometimes referred to as the insulin-like growth factors. We have hundreds of different, slightly varying growth factors that are released from the liver to the local tissues to live throughout the day. And they're added to every night. They're synthesized every night under the influence of pituitary growth hormone. Okay, so we have recovery from certain kinds of activities. We have remodeling and so on. Okay, if you have children, of course, that's a very important time. We're going to actually begin with sensory receptors. As you can see here, that's our first order of business. In some cases, we're going to be just pushing against them. Those are mechanical. So touch, some of them are stimulated by temperature. Some of them are in the retina, and they're stimulated by light. Some are chemoreceptors for taste and smell. Some are nociceptors, which means that they're specifically for the purpose of producing pain. And so they're also within nociception would be temperature. So extreme heat, extreme cold, excessive pressure, etc. Almost anything can be utilized in a pain-like way if you work on it hard enough. And so let's press on then, and we're going to be actually identifying now specifics right over here. We have a table that addresses these things. Let's look carefully over here. And we have free nerve endings. If we're looking at the base of the skin, okay, then we're looking at the free nerve endings that are present in epithelial tissues of the skin and the surface of the eye, etc. And they let us know where these are, and they make a little discussion here. Let's go slowly here so that we pick up all the details. First of all, we could find this in any part of the epidermis, in the cornea, in the mucosa, in the glands. These are free nerve endings. It's a very common usage of generating potentials in sensory neurons. And so the idea here is that we're feeling our way, as it were. We could be sensing hot, cold, pain, pinch, various chemicals. And these are slow adapting, which is to say, when we adapt to something, it stops sending a signal. So we've adapted. Okay, if you have slow adaptation, that means the signal continues. So the beauty of free nerve endings is that it continues to hurt if there's a problem. You would like this actually in your cornea. If you get a little eye scratch, I will let you know right now, just in a clinical sense, that it will take 2 hours for it to go away. I'm serious about this. I'm very, very serious. It takes almost exactly 2 hours. So if you get some sand caught in your eye because you were walking along Ocean Beach on a windy day in San Francisco, and the sand kicked up in your eyes and you got a little scratch-a-rooney, you went to the ophthalmologist because you thought you were going to die, and she pulls out her Q-tip and she just looks through her microscope, which you can do as an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. You can see the individual cells at the surface of the eye, and you can draw off the broken one with a little Q-tip, which hurts like crazy. But then within 2 hours, it actually grows a new cell, and you're fine, like it never happened. And they will tell you in 2 hours you'll be out of pain, but you'll just have to grit your teeth until then. Okay, so some things make adjustments real quickly, but you would like to be having that slow adapting pain to let you know that something is wrong in the body. Okay, here we are again in that basal layer of the, do you remember this back when we studied skin? We had these little tactile cells there, right there, and it was called, take a look here, Merkel. We met up with Merkel. It's sort of a modified free nerve ending because it's got sort of a more, how would I say, complete cellular structure right there. And so it's thought of as sort of like almost like a free nerve ending, but it's slightly modified, and it has a receptor coming away from it like this. And basically it's, again, slow adapting. You can use light touch pressure to feel your way around things, and it's not going to go away. You're going to be able to continue to use the sense of touch. Okay, so it's the basal layer of your skin. We use this for a lot of things. You need to be able to feel pulses in some cases. You need to be able to, if you're somebody who does body work, you need to be able to feel very, how shall I say, subtle and nuanced changes in musculature to understand if you're affecting the muscle correctly or not. Okay, here we have a hair follicle. We learned that the hair follicle actually has its beginnings way down deep in here. The basal layer of the epidermis goes down, and it feeds the, how shall I say, it provides synthesis of cells coming up here and becoming the hair. But we also have this interesting little arrangement right there. So we have a hair follicle receptor. So when the wind blows, you can feel it right there. Okay, so this is rapidly adapting. When you're leaning up against something, against any part of your body that has hair, then it's going to, you'll note it, and then it will stop. You'll stop noting it. It will not be a constant reminder. Okay, so it's something that adapts easily and quickly.